Hello folks, this is Paragon RG and we're watching some top level matches of Age of Empires 4. In this particular match, we're keeping an eye on Zalami, who is playing exclusively as the Delhi right now, as far as I can tell, against Give You Anxiety, who is, from what I'm told, one of the best Age of Empires 3 players of all time. GUA kind of bounces around the ladder a bit. Sometimes he's high up as, fourth. Other times he bumps down to something like 60. So I'm not sure if that's just spurts of playing and not playing, or maybe he's just streaky in how he plays. But nevertheless, Give You Anxiety in the red on the west side of the map on Hill and Dale, and he is playing as the Holy Roman Empire. So Holy Roman Empire, pretty good choice for this map because you can wall up, be a little more defensive. You can go for a fast castle, do that kind of thing that the HRE prefers to do. On the other hand, Delhi, I don't know if there's a particular reason to use Delhi on this map. There are only 2 sacred sites. Notice that in the middle. So, I mean, if your goal is to take both and protect both, maybe that is a good choice. Oh, actually, sorry, there's a 3rd sacred site down here, and that's a lucky spawn. It is way closer to Zalami than it is to Give You Anxiety. So maybe the idea is just that Delhi can tech in peace. Not exactly sure. One of the things I'm hoping to see out of this map is players adding a castle, getting the tech that allows their castle to make villagers, which is Delhi specific, and booming that way, sort of busting out of your area with castles and a villager boom. But I believe the castle techs are bugged. I think it's pretty unlikely we'll see that for a little while. So from Zalami, we see looked like it was a pretty early mosque going with efficient production. The last game I just came out of was Zalami also playing as Delhi with really, really interesting play. He made the compound of the defender in the castle age and went for a ton of wall. Not initially he went for no wall. I was worried he wasn't going to be using his compound of the defender bonus at all, and then he used it extensively and pushed through for a win. So we'll see if he does something similar on this map. Definitely a good map for stone wall, even just to keep yourself safe on your flanks. I've seen players as well go to the front of their opponent's base, add stone wall and stone wall towers, and push forward that way, but I'm skeptical we'll see that kind of cheese out of this map. Rather out of this matchup. So, right off the top, we see Dome of the Faith to get to the Feudal Age. Pretty unsurprising. I've seen almost nobody use the Tower of Victory, so I'd like to see that landmark buffed at some point. Nevertheless, this landmark will be useful for producing an extra Scholar. So I'm curious if after this he produces... No, he doesn't have the gold for it. I've seen him make 2 Scholars, like a 2nd Scholar out of his mosque before, but not this game. So it looks like he's experimenting with some different builds. On the other side, we see the Aachen Chapel going down for Give You Anxiety. Not too surprising, to be honest. This thing will provide 40% inspiration bonus, which is what you see, what you saw on that villager. This prelate here is manually buffing up all of the villagers with that 40% resource gather bonus. But once this thing is up, he will simply pop his, is a scholar, prelate, his prelate into the Aachen Chapel, at which point they'll just all get the bonus. So this thing scales nicely into the late game as well, because you can start putting down farms, for example, around the building, and they'll all provide that 40% resource gather bonus. Just another house. We don't see too much yet. I wouldn't be surprised, given the resources, that this is just a straight fast castle out of Give You Anxiety. We'll see if he goes for professional scouts. Is this a mill coming down? Maybe. Probably a mill. It's pretty common to see professional scouts, especially as the HRE, because you can bring the scouts back to the Aachen Chapel, at which point you are collecting from deer carcasses, which already provide deer meat, collects faster than sheep and definitely faster than farms, and then the 40% bonus on top of that. So a very large bonus indeed. We'll keep an eye on that mill for a minute to see what research comes in there. Stone from Zalami very early on. So it looks like he will be going for a boom. We'll watch his stone when he hits 300. And 400 wood, we expect to see a town center from him. I think an early castle would be cool, but I highly doubt it given his resources. He doesn't look like he's headed for the castle age at all. No professional scouts yet from GUA. Just keeping it real, doing his normal thing. So not too much happening on that side, just going for the fast castle. But take a look at this. Stonewall, walling, give you anxiety in. He is going to have to be pretty careful about this. It's all great to hit fast castle, but if you can't get out on the map, you're in a pretty bad position. Villager coming out to do this, and he will have to use his scout to protect that villager, because they will eventually go down to enemy scouts, and if they do, they're in a pretty bad spot. Look at this, just sort of tapping each building to make sure that the walls are functioning. But ultimately, the scout will not be able to hang around with another scout, whipping on it as they do bonus damage against other scouts. So being walled in this front, you see him building his own wall here. It's actually kind of interesting. I'm not sure why he needs this. I mean, his opponent can really just wall this. So, okay, yeah, and he's going to do exactly that. So yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with this wall here. Unless he's just worried about the wall coming down and then Zalami stepping through and towering him. So maybe it's that. He can still do that here, though. So I'm a little confused by the response by Give You Anxiety. A little bit of wall coming out here as well. His scout going to be pushed back. We'll see if Zalami manages to pick it off. Don't think he does. Wall finished at the front. Professional scouts completed for Zalami. I like this a lot. The last match we watched from him was the first time I'd seen professional scouts used by Delhi. He's doing it again here, and part of why it's effective is because he's walling in his opponent. It also helps that his opponent didn't go for professional scouts at all. So I think to some extent this looks like it was intended as a counter to professional scouts. Oh, look at this, actually. Wall going here so he can't wall off that position, but he says that's okay. I'll just step back and wall a little farther back, and he can always wall this piece off as well. He does give his opponent one more berry patch, but really nothing nothing too much to be gained there. And Give You Anxiety will see this, and I bet he throws down a little wall right here. There it goes. And yeah, that's right. Just in time to bring back this relic. So he just hit the castle age. I think Zalami will be a little frustrated with this. But in theory, if he sort of tapped each wall piece, this wouldn't have been able to happen. Horsemen coming out from him now, so trying to grab a little bit of map control. And he is going to take out the prelate at the top here with the relic. So yeah, even if a relic gets in from the sort of bottom left side, looks like that might be the end of it. So we'll see what Zalami does. Maybe he just chooses to wall this off. Oh, he's just going to, yeah, step forward and wall. And now that he has the horsemen, his opponent's villagers cannot come forward and put that annoying wall in the way. Meanwhile, Zalami is still in Age 2, and he is still on stone. I must have missed... Oh, right, yeah, of course. So all that stone being used, I was thinking it was going to be for a fast town center. Definitely wrong about that, being used to wall in his opponent. Good spot here. Adds a little bit of wall because his opponent could slip through that. And in fact, maybe even did. Maybe that's part of how he got out and grabbed that relic. I think these walls just being tapped on by a villager, he can always come back and finish them. But in the meantime, just wants to prevent his opponent from doing anything. Placing horsemen on the inside of his opponent's base to just generally cause problems. He's purposely walled them in. So I think with this, Give You Anxiety is now fully walled in. He can definitely bust out of here relatively easy. I mean, a single ram would do it in about a second. But that's still pretty annoying. Let's check his Regnitz Cathedral. Only one relic in from him. So that's still 300 gold per minute. That's nothing to scoff at. But that gold boom that he was hoping to get has been pretty effectively countered here. Zalami is now clicked up, and he's going up with, again, the compound of the defender. We're seeing more and more of this out of players, and definitely out of Zalami. So this may be used to push through the wall and actually start adding some stonewall towers toward his enemy base. I think there's a bunch of possibilities. I think the most important thing to note, though, is that it just gives a lot of flexibility with actually making walls. Your infantry can do it, which saves your villagers a lot of time, and it also just means you can produce walls a lot more safely. Watch this battle here. We'll see if... Looks like Zalami controlling this pretty well. Able to drive away his opponent for it now, but I'm sure another horseman will pop. Actually, a knight popping. And that... Look at that knight. Yeah, very cool. See that armor on the knight. So that knight will end any kind of aggression or just irritation inside of Give You Anxiety's base, and we'll see what he has to follow up on. 2 villagers up here have completed the stone wall, so he is very much locked into his own base. Needs to figure out a way out. Scholars grabbing relics for Zalami. Does he have any yet? I don't see any. Needs to get this scholar active, but I'm sure he will. What's up here? So probably we'll grab this relic soon as well. So yeah, would not be surprised to see if he gets the relic advantage in this game. And he's able to now take sacred sites freely as well. So I'd love to see this scholar get right back out. And do we see... Yeah, another relic coming in now here. So that should be number 2. Love to see him take these sacred sites. His gold income will go up so fast. I mean, if you think about it, in a way, it makes sense. If your opponent's walled, go take the sacred site, which he's doing now, and on your way back, grab a relic. So maybe his hope, this guy has far too few hit points to really do anything, but maybe he'll grab this sacred site, sweep up here to try to grab this relic, which is currently guarded by a scout, and then head home. That would be the most efficient use. So continuing to be active with his scholars on the map. Villagers killing the wolf here. Has placed an outpost probably just for a little bit of line of sight. And I say a little bit, but a lot. So he'll see if his opponent is making a ram or something like that. So I actually like this outpost placement quite a bit. Taking the sacred site at the bottom now. Horsemen will hopefully sweep up here to drive away the scout. Although I say that, the scout is now gone. Taking the sacred site here. Keep coming up from Zalami. I love this so much. Keeping active on that stone is almost used this entire stone patch. What else do we see him up to? And remember that with Compound of the Defender, this is 600 stone to make this keep. Outpost coming down here as well. Do we see any kind of... I'm wondering if we're going to see arrow slits come down, but I don't think they can range. I was going to say range the berries. Give You Anxiety's villagers here are now idle from finishing the berries anyway. So now has a ram on the south side taking out this tower. So we'll have to see... Like, one interesting thing might be, like, you know, you have a gate, and then you can have a sprinkled behind shoot at the battering ram. Another option would be if you did have a tower here, you can actually pop spearmen up here, and units on towers gain, sorry, on walls gain 2 range. That actually includes the torch thrower. And so with the improvement you gain from in range, you can actually shoot at these battering rams really, really effectively with a good mass of spearmen. So it looks like Give You Anxiety going to be busting out here. This castle getting up in time. Trying to see what else we can spot. Going to be taking the sacred site. Might finish it before the knights come in, and I think he will. But might have a bit of difficulty stopping the knights. He is making war elephants now. And for those who don't know, war elephants are a somewhat effective counter to knights, and very effective to cavalry in general. You see, first of all, they have the 30 tusk attack, 30 tusk damage attack, and they also have the spear attack, which is 20 spear damage, but plus 40 against cavalry. So they can even do that while moving. You can sort of walk away with these guys, and you'll see the guy on top sort of jabbing away with his spear. Producing Tower War Elephant as well. We'll see what he gets up to with that. Outpost being torched down by Give You Anxiety. And this is where he's going to notice his opponent has a keep. And definitely needs to be careful. That's, I think, just a horseman going down. We'll see what Give You Anxiety gets up to here. Probably heading down to the next Sacred Site. And I don't think Salami has any real way of defending that. And will probably lose his Scholar here. He goes down. A couple horsemen running out. I think this is a just a mistake, unless it's some kind of scouting play, but I don't think that it is. Let's take a look at what we can see from Salami here right now. So he's going to be happy with this position. Villagers up here as well. Has the stone to make another castle, but I wonder where he's hoping to make it. This thing is now, at least, this sacred site, I should say, is now pretty protected by the castle. But does he choose to build a castle, like push back, take this spot back and make a castle there? I like that position a lot. I mean, I think a castle here would defend a big chunk of the map. Missing some action over here. Cavalry and archers pushing forward as well as the ram. But needs to be pretty careful because these elephants are quite effective and they can take out the ram very well also. So I think this is a bit of an overextension from Salami. Let's get a little closer on these elephants here so you can see them in action. This guy currently has a torch. But yeah, look at that spear going. Walking around, jabbing away at cavalry. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think these things counter horsemen pretty effectively. They have... What's the, only 4 melee armor. Horsemen have 11 attack. Interesting. So this Tower War Elephant is definitely the tool for the job against the archers. 4 ranged armor against only 6 attacks. So they are pretty useless against the 960 hit points it has. And it looks like he's finishing off the horsemen here, although at a cost of an elephant. So we'll want to be a little bit conservative, but definitely an important battle. I mean, look at the cavalry that went down here, and I think this will allow him to place the keep that he wants. Just, you know, right here even. And potentially even start taking that large gold vein toward the center of the map. So we'll see if these villagers are moving, and they are. Let's see where this keep... Oh, he's finishing the wall first and foremost. I like that a lot. I think I might have forgotten that and let that slip. Because once that is down, I don't think there's any other gap here. Take a quick look around at all the spots he's been walled in. This outpost's still up, in fact. Finishes the wall, builds a keep directly outside of it. So this is an absolutely commanding position for Salami. Let's take a look, see if the numbers tell the same story. 84 population, 58 villagers, versus 82 and 53. So very close overall, but given the map position for Salami and the fact that he has 2 sacred sites with the third being taken, each one of these is a little bit like 5 villagers on gold, 4 to 5 villagers on gold. So, you know, that's quite a few villagers ahead. We see here just a stray horseman. Looks like the knights, lancers rather, of Salami will chase that down just fine. Sacred Site finishing up here. This will trigger a timer, which for once I am watching. So at about 1850, if Give You Anxiety is unable to push, 2850, he's unable to push his opponent off the Sacred Sites, he is done for. Okay, let me just fix this. Looks like I made a small mistake. Need to keep this thing down. That looks a little sharper. My apologies. And look at this. Gate coming down. Stonewall Tower. Needs to finish this. After which he's building a keep forward. Now, I think this keep is a little bit ambitious. But that being said, with all of these elephants guarded by a ballista shooting a springled... Let me start that over. With these elephants and these villagers guarded by this Stonewall Tower with its sprinkled emplacement, might actually be a bit difficult. I thought he was going to jump on it. I thought maybe with all of his archers he could snipe these villagers, something like that. But Jiwei playing a little conservatively here, maybe concerned about his lack of knights. He has all horsemen, scouts, and spearmen, as well as some archers, and now throwing down rams. So this is a little bit of a trash army coming out from Give You Anxiety. So we'll see what Salami is able to do against that. But with the castle, to be honest, I think he's in a pretty darn good position. Fourth ram coming out. Keep in mind the elephants are able to deal with the rams, but with enough spearmen, the elephants can't really get close. And these war elephants, even with 1,400 hit points, are so hard countered by spearmen, it's not even funny. Plus 23 damage versus cavalry. So 33 damage, each spearman, each hit. You'll see these things just absolutely plummet. So Salami is going to notice this now. Horsemen starting to go down. These villagers are going to pop into here. And these elephants need to be careful. I mean, I think he could even consider putting them into the castle. But I guess if he thinks the castle is going to go down anyway, he might as well just leave. See a few men-at-arms up here for Salami. Some crossbowmen coming forward as well, though I think it's a bit of a mistake. They may be rallied incorrectly because they're getting gunned down by archers. Elephants starting to come out. Needs to be so careful around all these spearmen. Now, castles can now target units, so manually. So I think it's possible that if he, if he sort of manually targets all of the spearmen. Actually, this castle, I think, killing a lot of the spearmen. I think this is a misplay from Jiwei and a really good play from Salami, because those spearmen going down, the elephants are now able to push out, potentially even save this castle. Fantastic play by Salami as the Delhi, beating Jiwei as the HRE on Hill and Dale. Folks, this is Paragon RG. Subscribe for daily Age of Empires 4 casting. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll catch you next time.